before we get into this very interesting live, to say the least, we'll go over a few different areas. We can see Ethereum's popped off out of that daily inverse head and shoulders. We were hopeful that that would happen yesterday, but still we looked at it with skepticism as well in case it didn't pop up. But Ethereum is leading the way right now at 4%. And it's a very good sign here with Ethereum popping out. It's over that rising wedge right now. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about MXC as it looks like it's reversing finally. It's up 5.7% on the day, but it's had a very key breakout here. After that technical drop point that was filled, we talked about if it had to break down farther, the worst case scenario we put on there, but we were suspecting it would break down to that short-term pattern, form down right here to that 000649. I decided to buy that drop after it dropped down. And then instead of selling out, it came up. I had bought 3 million tokens or 2 million or whatever it was. When it had that 15% drop, I decided to add it up to 4 million plus tokens instead of selling because I thought, hey, that looks oversold here. And it seems like a better than not spot. So we'll go over all of that as we go into this live. Let me say hi to everybody very quickly. Make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this live. Content, as you know, it's hit or miss with the way that they recommend the stuff. So it really does help when everybody shares it more than you may actually know. So let's go over some of the comments real quick, and then we'll let things fall into place as they may. XRP Future Millionaire, remember, for 48 months. I like seeing that with the XRP Phoenix badge. Grant, welcome in. Frankie Fresh, James Dula, thank you both for being in Tom's for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Love it. And James, be careful, said you're stuck in traffic. But yeah, I'm glad you're listening, but don't watch so much. Just, listen, like you said. You're listening, not so much watching. But yeah, ZBCN at 0.002 would be huge. Yesterday, I told everybody about the sell signal when it was at 0054. And I said I live or die with it. I don't care if it's or 5.3 it might have been at when we were on yesterday. And I said I had sold out, made 250+%, and I was completely liquid. And I said that I would buy back at what I perceive the fair value gap down there at 0.00209. Same thing as I said after buying and selling out after 150%, and said I wouldn't buy back until it was at 0.0014 or 145 as it turned out. But I waited, was very patient, took a second, but got back there. Now I'm doing the exact same thing. Going to wait for that gap to fill out. It's going to back test the breakout of the cup and handle. And that's where I see the next big buying opportunity is going to be. So for that being said, I'm getting rid of that. And I think that's the way this has to set up. But for anybody who was here yesterday, was that not a phenomenal call to tell everybody to take their profits? And well, at least that's what I was doing. But I said, that's what I'm doing, and you can follow if you choose so, but I can't force you to do it. I can only tell you what I'm doing, but I can't make you do something. But now it's down 21%, so, I wasn't just flapping my gums yesterday, so to say. But here, let's continue welcoming in everybody. Crazy Paul, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Zone for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Good evening. He says hello, Tom, and hello, everybody else. Derek Bird, good evening. TFLX, good evening. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being a very trusted mod along with Jorge. And you're both been in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor, and both very trusted mods. Love it. Thank you both so much. Moza here and Mark Caston, both in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bad. Thank you so much for that continued support by both of you. I really appreciate that. More than you know. More than you know. Let me reset this because for some reason all the comments I can tell weren't coming in because it hadn't even updated a lot of the stuff. Well, there's 107 people in here. It was just telling me there was like 18, so that's a big difference from what it was saying for sure. Let's see. Where were we at? Shane, welcome in. Crypto Cooter, good evening, and thanks for being in town for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Sir Smokeslot's been in town for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Thank you so much for that, along with Crazy Pull and Adam Reynolds. All three of you in town for over 6 months with the Predictor. Kyle Kupiak, Cape Cod. Kyle, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, even though this evening it decided not to show it. John Hall, good evening, brother. Blessed to see you still in this audience. Vado Damas, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, along with CJ2 Pilot and Lung Snacks in 1 year club as well. Wow, I didn't realize you were in Tom's Army that long. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Michael Shields, welcome in. He says, hi, Tom. Hit the like button for Tom. Absolutely. We've got 107 people. We've had 116 people. 42 likes. Lacking on the likes a little bit, but who am I to say? Who am I to say? Big Dog, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And I know it's your first month because that's the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens, and my face is superimposed on that emoji badge. I did give out a buy signal for Quant, and my buy signal was at it looked like it was going to break out of the inverse head and shoulders. It was around $64, $65. I said I never do this for Quant, but this is the time to buy. And I took it, and you guys could do whatever. But that was because everybody always asked me, and I said that was my buy alert right there when I was about to break out of that little inverse head and shoulders, and perfectly played out too. It's perfectly playing out. So I'm glad everybody got that opportunity. But I remember that so clearly. Grant, welcome in. Back in the game, baby. Indeed. Shane says we take a peek at XRP Healthcare and or DAG. Yeah, definitely XRP Healthcare. If I forget about DAG, try to remind me. But I'll try to remember. But definitely XRP Healthcare. There's just always so much stuff to talk about. Catherine, good evening, love, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. I love it. And that's my face superimposed on there, so I know it's true. Joseph Boiler, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. As everybody's getting in here now, I like to say hi to everybody, and then we get into business. Because then everybody's here, situated, and then whoever wants to be here will be here, and so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. Sola Jeffy says, Tom, chat energy is getting exciting. Yes, it is. Everybody is. It's awesome. Mark Caston says 40,100 subscribers. Indeed. It's crazy to me. But yeah, we're over 40,100. It sounds so weird to say that. 40,000 subscribers. Jennifer Kupiak, welcome in, and thank you so much for continuing to tune in, even in the stressful times. Hopefully your animals and everything else are up to par today and nothing crazy's going on. Justin Wilson, welcome in. I am here again. I love seeing you back. Love it. Hello to you, my friend. Mara Louise Willamese, good evening. I love that name. Potsy Weber, been catching the lives from Queens, North Carolina, or New York City. XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum in my long shot. OMI, what's your long shot? DGB. Digibite. Well, and I suppose you could say XRP Healthcare. I've got a few long shots, but I would consider DGB and the XRP Healthcare as the two long shots, but I don't consider them long shots because I think it's going to be a done deal, but it's still a long shot just because I believe something's going to happen. But yeah, great question. Great question. Crawbilly's welcome in. Keep me sane and insane all at the same time, Tom. That's the way it is, Jennifer. Nothing wrong with that. And then I missed XRP Zombie. How do I join your Telegram? Here, I'll share that in here right now. I'll share that in here right now for you, XRP Zombie. And it's free. It's free. There's no strings attached. Nothing special. The only rule is, you can't. I'll kick you out if you're just being. If you ruin the flow. That's all. That's all I'll say. Nothing more. Nothing less. This is not my first rodeo, and this is not the first time I've had people join the Telegram, but this is the last time. So it's come a long way, and I've learned a lot about not having BS in there. So join at your own peril, as they say. Just be cool. Yeah, like Julie said, the only rule is there's no second chances. And that's my own. All right, so there's the Telegram if you're interested. That link right there, there's like 285 people in there, XRP Zombie, so just click the link. Bring you right there. But with that being said, oh, wait a minute. Timothy Perez, welcome in. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor. I'll answer that question in a sec. Lonzo, good evening. Shane says no warning in the Telegram. BS, you get booted. Yes, that's right. See, he knows the warning. That is the warning. Justin said, what do you think about XRP? What do you think XRP price should be for us for its intended use? You know, I've asked myself that question a lot. A lot. I think for its intended use, if we're looking at the end game here, and some of you might be disappointed, I think for its intended use, XRP has to have a price somewhere, and it's negligible, but I think somewhere between 50 and maybe 75 on the low end, 125 on the top end. But for it to actually run reasonable, it could do it between $10 and $20, if I'm being honest. $10 to $20, I think, is a sure thing. But I do see where XRP does end up moving on a macro level, and it ends up having this kind of parabolic, hyperbolic move. And that should put us somewhere between the half 100 range and maybe 3/4 of 100 bill. So whatever you think of that. But I'm not the person to tell you it's going to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. I do think, however, there is a road for XRP to get to that mid $50 to $75 range. I don't think it's unattainable, but what I do think is even more realistic is we're going to get a shot between $10 to $20 at least once or twice, or it's going to trade there for a while. But remember, when you have an abundance of tokens, you don't need to have it at $10,000 a token. What you need it is more like that 50 to that stability. You need it to be expensive enough, but you don't want it to be overweighted per token, if that makes any sense. I think anything under 100 is speculation. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's going to take our entire lifetime. I think 28 to 32 is going to be one of those profound moments where we're like, oh boy. But what's happening right now, and let me go into this intro, and ZIL is not dead. ZIL is not dead, Timothy. In fact, I continue to buy more ZIL. I have over 300,000 ZIL. It is not dead. ZIL is far from dead. I think it's just going through the natural rotation like most of crypto outside of XRP. You know, like, is DGB dead because it's barely hanging at the 1 penny still? You know, is XDC sitting at 7.4? I mean, you know, there's a lot of things where they're very cheap, but I don't think they're dead. But I understand why you're saying it with ZIL, because it's been stuck in the same consolidation for quite some time. But ZIL, more so than most, is capable of doing 15, 20 X's in a month. So when it's ready, it's ready. So there's no telling when it's going to be, but it's going to happen eventually here. Some of the ones that I hold that I always tell everybody about, I don't hold them for no reason. These suckers, when they get moving, they go, it's over. It's just lightning quick speed. But with that being said, good evening. 6:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday. Did I already do this? May 27th, 2025. Why are you laughing? I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. She was? Oh. I thought you were laughing because I just did the intro or something. You guys might see me drinking a lot of water. I did like, 4 hours of work outside after the gym and all this other crap, so I'm just thirsty. So I gotta rehydrate. I feel like ALGO and HBAR is dead. No. Couldn't, no. Let's see. Lonzo, if you're aware of XRP as a multiplier effect from influence to market cap, what happens when trillions of dollars flow across the network daily? Exactly what I said will happen. That's when you'll see those prices I talked about. That's exactly what's going to happen. But I think a lot of people are going to be sadly mistaken when they see that XRP price doesn't hover around the prices they think because of certain influencers, but it ends up hovering around the prices that this influencer you're watching right now has told you for years, because it's based on sound fact and not speculation. Anyhow, XRP falling below $2.31, down about 0.16% on the day, as Bitcoin has reversed rather harshly here today. Ethereum, once it got over 2,700, said, pfft. But it's not done. Now it's back testing this movement from 2718. Now Ethereum, if it holds this 2,600 level, and you can see this bull flag, like you can see it, I can see it, everybody can see it. We can all see this inverse head and shoulders in the daily. And now if this plays out properly, Ethereum's going to be around 3,000. It's going to be around maybe even higher. But I think this is the gatekeeper right now. This is the gatekeeper of alt season. We can say whatever we want about XRP, but the true gatekeeper of alt season's right here. If this breaks out and Ethereum ends up coming up here towards 3,362, we're going to have a nice little move in the alt sector. I guarantee it. And there's a lot of inverse head and shoulders forming across the market. And if this pans out, we're going to have some fun here. Now, with that being said, XRP continues to stall trying to break out of this section. But nonetheless, even today in the daily, it's back tested this range perfectly without falling through. And it looks like it's setting itself up for a push up near $3. Now, the only thing we don't know is if it has to come back down to that demand area or distribution, which would be the top of the distribution box. But if it has to come down and hit that liquidity zone, because there are some long liquidations that occur between $1.98 and $2.07. Like 100 and, well, we'll see where it's at today. It was at like 140 million not too long here. Let's go into the liquidation map real quick. All right. What the hell is this? Oh. What is that? That's not what I had on. But that was the other link. Let's see. I don't know. We've done pretty good in that liquidity zone in this area. Man, it's not even going to show me all the way down there. Hold on. Let's reset this real quick. I think I'm gonna pull this back like maybe a couple months. I just want to see something real quick. I guess I won't be able to take it any farther. Darn it. Yeah, see, some of the liquidity's broken down below a little bit. There's still liquidity, but the strongest liquidity right now seems to be sitting at 225, 224, 226. This is a good sign. A lot of this liquidity is wrapped up here now. This is good. 132 million at 224. This is a good sign. Now, we don't want this to play out as a bear flag, but we want this to kind of be like an inverse setup. Now, I don't know. Because if it breaks down, I'm telling you, that area that I keep talking about is going to end up hitting. Japan's daily flow, what's the XRP at $200 per coin? JP Morgan's daily flow, what's that XRP say? You guys are talking. MXC, good buy right now. It's all speculation, mother. Anything's a good buy right now. Like, even if I think it's a good buy, it might not be a good buy. I mean, based on the pure technicals, it's about a 75-25 shot here with the MXC. 6% ago would have been better, because now we have the obvious dilemma here that it broke out. Now we're going to have that little drop down to back test. If it's, oh, actually, you know what? It did it right here in the 2 hourly. Never mind. Well, we might not have to come down here. It might just be a straight shot up here then. That's a big W reversal, though, and it's been kicked in the nuts here many times. So, it's been kicked here hard. Eventually, this is going to reverse up. And what I'm saying is, I thought maybe it could come back up here and at least retest this drop point. But there's a couple issues in the way right now. Still got to get past the 200 at 873. 4 hourly is going to be an even bigger kick in the, you know, it's going to have to get a little bit of fortitude here to push past. But I mean, I think it's going to come back up here in time. I think this was a spectacular move. I do. I think this was a spectacular move. I'm not a financial advisor, and maybe it'll be a devastating move. But you know, it's all in its right. It's all in its own right, because even if something loses out, this is my crypto funds. If to me, when I deal with my crypto funds, it's as if it's as if the money's gone. I can't use it for anything else. This money is for crypto. Just like my mining stocks money is for mining stocks. Even if I have no money left to my name, it's as if that doesn't exist. I operate as if that doesn't happen. That's what an investment is supposed to be. That's what the investment tool is supposed to be. Most people make the mistake, especially in crypto, they put their damn savings in it. I did in 21. Fortunately, I don't have to do that now because I had such a parabolic spike in 21, 23, 22 even in the swing trading. And then obviously 24 just took the cake at 24 to the beginning of 25. It was just that. Now I need that to happen one more time. If I get that same move I had in 24 from November to January, if I can get that same move one more time, I might be dealing with 9 figures. But I need that same damn move. So we'll see. What do the technicals tell me about ZBCN? The same thing I said yesterday. To sell it yesterday when it was at 0053 or whatever it was when I was live, I sold for 250% profit. And I said it's telling me that there's a fair value gap at 00209. And if I'm wrong, but you can't take the 250% or 9 grand back from me. And I even took that off the exchanges, as I said yesterday. And I'm sending it to my, either, I don't know if I'm going to put it in emerging markets. I'm going to just leave it in like a little savings there, like just a little nesting until I find something deeper. But there's a reason I did this time. Because I didn't want to keep that abundance on the crypto exchange. Because then I'm going to gamble on stuff I don't want. Oh, don't be sorry for the typos. I typo all the time. I have a bunch of them, the typos. I get it. I get it. Keep on talking, Lonzo. We'll figure it out. Let me see. What else did he say? Where's it at? Lonzo said Japan's daily flow. What's the XRP? I don't know what it would be at with JP Morgan's daily flow. I never looked into it. Well, I mean, I've done a correlation, but I never thought about it deeply. That's a good question. It's all an illusion. What's up, Tom? Think we'll see one of those nasty 1D wicks that turn green by close. Thank you for being in Tom's Zone for 6+ months, my friend. I hope so. I certainly hope so. Is he still,
No, he's smiling.
Is he up?
He's shaking.
But he's smiling? Okay, so he's acknowledging. I mean, right now with XRP, I can see one small problem here, and it's just what we've talked about the last few days. You know, there's some liquidity zones a little bit deeper, because those long liquidations still happen. I think it's down to $50 million, but hey, there's still something there. That looks like a small... I want this to kind of be like a rounding of a double bottom, you know, like... Sometimes you get this, and they start to become exhaustion zones. And I don't know if that's the case right now, but see how it came down? And it's swinging around. If it could swing back around, this would be a nice exhaustion right there. Now, if it doesn't, and this was a failed move back up, then all of a sudden you have to be like, all right, well, it formed this bear flag. Maybe it does do something like this, and then we have to decide when it gets into this box, right? Somewhere around 215, 214. So we're kind of stuck in the middle. We're stuck in the middle. The fact that Ethereum can't make up its damn mind puts us even more in the middle. And the fact that where Ethereum got caught up is right at a very key and interesting point, because we're pretty sure this is going to have to backtest. I don't think there's any way around it. Ethereum's going to have to backtest this and have to hold that 2,600. So, and if it does... we could have some serious fireworks here, and we get some serious fireworks with Ethereum. That's the #1 way for us to get fireworks with the alt tokens. It just is. It just is. Lung Snacks, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. He says, think it will explode on a Thursday. I don't know, but everything happens on Thursday. We've been having a lot of good Thursdays. in the not so distant past. So, I mean, everything's on the table, but we got to make sure, because today's Tuesday, it looks a little bearish to me. That looks like a bear flag. If I was being honest, you see how I put this yellow arrow pointing here? I would probably say probably something like that. No, I suppose it could be. Nah, this is tough. Because that looks like a small flag that wants to break down. Hopefully not. But we'll see if that does end up breaking down. You know, that could start breaking down here in a very real way. XRP price per Japan daily flow equals $200. JP Morgan equals $200. Bank of America equals $200. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So these are the price equivalents of what it should be based on the daily flow. Interesting. If there was only a way to fact check all of that without having to take the word of all these companies. Not that I don't trust JP Morgan or Bank of America or Japan. Thoughts on HBAR targets? Man, you guys are putting me to work today. Got all these questions. Well, we're in the bearish zone. No doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. We are bearish right now. I'm telling you guys, the short... Did you guys see my title earlier? What I put in here? Again, I do these things strategically. Did you see what the strategic way I listed this title earlier? XRP, this was this morning's update. XRP bear trap. Don't fall for it. Get ready for liftoff. That's because even if we fall here, this is going to end up being one of the greatest bear traps probably in the history of the XRP chart if this happens. So, you know, I keep talking about these kind of things subtly in the title. I even said yesterday, the titles are going to be more to pay attention to for a different reason. Because it's going to have, it's almost like a code in between. Just like I've talked about in this live, XRP secret weapon, a 6-month backtest hints at massive price discovery, ignoring the bearish outflows. So what exactly would that mean? Well, it means exactly what it sounds like. And I'll talk about that in a sec. But HBAR almost looks like the rest of these patterns that put in this, and I have it like that, but you want to know why this is bad right now? Does anybody know if I just connect it like this, what that turns into? Or even yet, what if you do this? Or even yet, you could have a rising channel, you could have a rising wedge. You know, you could do it however you want, but all ends meet the same way. That's a bearish consolidation there at the end. You know, unless you get a volume spike. But now we're breaking down below that bearish consolidation with a death cross in the daily. That's about to confirm. We need a rapid outbreak here, quickly. Or that right shoulder is about to pop down. Take the elevator up. Take the stairs down, right? We say this all the time. Say it all the time. Why be afraid of the Batman top when all it's trying to do is tell us some information? People run away in fear, anger. They piss and moan. They get so freaking upset that they run away from crypto as a whole when they see Batman. You know what I say? Where the hell is the consolidation zone for Batman? So, so now we have to try to find where possibly this could meet. So here, let me do a better job here. Because it's not going to come all the way 100% down, I don't believe. But then again, you never know. Ooh, maybe. Ooh. I love technical analysis, especially when there's no right or wrong answer. You've just got to kind of dissect the pattern and say, you know, this is what feels best to me. This is what feels best to me. So for me, we had this big consolidation here. Nice flat support here. Now, if we have to come down, I would say 12.7 cents is the lowest that you can afford to come without a full pattern reset at about 4 cents. So That's where it gets tough because you do have an inverse head and shoulders, which makes what I'm saying valid. Like you can't lose a certain section here. But at the same time, we have broken out of here in a massive way. And this consolidation started all the way back in April of 22. So just remember that. Or March of 22. See this? Remember I said you can't afford to break past certain segment? I wasn't just blowing smoke. But what I was doing was showing you a different way to look at this within the current flow that ends up meeting the all-time flow. See what we did there? See how that matches up? See why you can't afford to lose that section? Because that is the back test. I showed you it slightly different way at first. But now... Hey, I see what you did there, Mike. He says Tom is the 100% or the undisputed #1 testicle analyst on the market, but he said I have an anal cyst. I see what he did. I am the #1 technical. I love it. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Does anyone have news on when we're going to $8 or what? It's gonna take some time. $8 isn't even one of our targets yet. We're not even going to that direction yet. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor. Love that guy. He does a great job on YouTube. A lot of information on cannabis, growing, medicinal parts of it, facts, the history, real history, not just the nonsense malarkey. But yeah, that's the bottom line truth with HBAR. So you see why it needs to hold that area? I think it's pretty obvious. Once you start to break down the charts and you're like, uh-oh. So that's what we're dealing with, huh? And it's not like an uh-oh in a bad way. It's just, these are what the charts are doing. John Patak, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon Badge. $86,000 seconds. That's a big timeout. Feels bad, Big Yin, doesn't it? Feels bad. Feels bad. We're ruled with an iron fist here. We got one rule. Respect. Respect, and integrity. I guess 2 rules. But, I love seeing MXC up 6%. Can't explain it. I just love seeing it up 6%. I mean, it could be because I own 4 million tokens, but I still love. Can't explain it. Mining stocks did a little bit better than I thought they would do today, to be honest. B2 Gold was up to $3.38 in the regular hours, $3.40 after hours. Barrett Gold held serve. Gold was down a little bit today, about $25, but it's up right now after the flip. Silver was down a little bit, but yet Fortuna Silver, or First Majestic just shook it off, was up 4.7%. And I talked about how First Majestic had that acquisition a couple weeks ago, and that's why the price dumped, even though they had good earnings. And I bought more, and now it's up to 620 right now in after hours. Fortuna Silver Mines did great, just kind of hung out there. Now it's at 588. It was even on the day. And then Pan America Silver is down like less than 1/4%. Still hanging out over 20. But I'm very happy to see how they reacted. Crypto came out swinging today, and then it came out swinging, and it got fatigued. Found a little fatigue in crypto after the day started going on a little bit. It's interesting what's happening. Especially with how Ethereum came out swinging today. So XRP bounces back as bulls defend key technical support. So the market cap swings nearly $4 billion as XRP weathers capital outflows, holding firm above 50-day simple moving average despite global economic headwinds. Global economic tensions and trade disputes continue to influence cryptocurrency markets, with XRP demonstrating remarkable resilience despite recent capital outflows. The digital asset saw its market capitalization fluctuate from $137.5 billion to $133.39 billion before partially recovering to $135.86 billion, highlighting the ongoing volatility. Despite these challenges, Are you going,
We're
Scar?
gonna walk.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be back.
What the hell is this thing? Well, I guess whatever. Let's see. Despite these challenges, XRP maintains excuse me. Position above critical technical and support levels, including the 50-day simple moving average at $2.26, suggesting underlying strength in its market structure. And that 50-day lines up perfectly with the breakout support. The price range on the technical analysis, these are the highlights. XRP traded between $2.27.5 and $2.35.6, representing a 3.56% range over 24 hours. Volume supports significant volume spike to 71.18 million at $2.27.5 level during the 1 o'clock hour, 0100 hour on May 27th. Consolidation pattern hours following the initial support showed price consolidation before renewed buying. Another high volume increase to 74.36 million during the 1300th hour pushed prices towards range highs. Key resistance established at 235.5 to 235.6. Support zone, strong support identified at 227.5 to 229. Hour volatility, notable price surge from 233 to 235.6 between 1308 and 1318 hours. And this is the 24-hour clock if you haven't figured it out by now. Volume confirmation, exceptional volume spike of 6.28 million at 1313 hours. Supported the rally. Correction support, price found support at 232.4 around 1351. Before recovering, bullish pattern formation of the channel pattern with higher lows suggesting continued positive momentum. So, it's a way to look at it. I always like to look at things in a slightly different way than my own. I do. Let's see what they say. XRP price prediction for May 27th. When can traders expect sharp moves from XRP? The price of XRP has increased by 0.39% over the last day. On the hourly chart, the rate of XRP is on its way to the local resistance of 235.4. On the bigger chart, on the bigger time frame, the price of XRP has bounced off the support of 226.6. If the daily bar closes near resistance, traders may witness a test of $2.45. From the midterm point of view, the rate of the altcoin is far from key levels. In this case, there are low chances of seeing sharp ups or downs soon. XRP is trading at 233.16 at press time. Interesting. Let's see if there's any news I missed here. There's always a chance I missed something. Oh, what the hell is this? Circle filed for an IPO? What's going on there? I knew there was a 20... So Ripple 20 billion USDC bid might be off as Circle officially files for an IPO. The stablecoin space might not be as much of a wild ride as expected. Circle, the company behind USDC, has officially filed for an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange, which makes Ripple's recent 20 billion acquisition offer doubtful. Reportedly, 24 million Class A shares are going to be included in the listing, split between 9.6 million from Circle itself and 14.4 million from existing shareholders. Share prices are expected to be between $24 and $26, with trading set to begin under the ticker CRCL. The move comes just weeks after reports of high-level talks between Ripple and Circle, with insiders suggesting the deal was close to the finish line. Ripple had previously made a lower offer in the 4 to 5 billion range back in April, which Circle declined. The follow-up 20 billion bid, if accepted, would have been one of the biggest mergers in crypto history and would have given Ripple direct control over the infrastructure powering the second largest stablecoin after USDT. Is the deal dead? Circle has since denied reports of any pending acquisition and has not acknowledged the offer publicly Today's IPO filing appears to confirm that the company is choosing the public markets over a private sale, at least for now. For Ripple, this development could stall a strategic move aimed at expanding its footprint in the dollar-backed stablecoin sector. Ripple's own stablecoin, RLUSD, launched recently and is already in circulation, but it remains far behind USDC in scale, with a market cap of just over 310 million compared to USDC's 61.5 billion. At the same time, Ripple continues to push forward with other plans. CEO Brad Garlinghouse has expressed confidence in the approval of an XRP-based ETF before year's end, and noting that the company's IPO plans are not ruled out, though they are not a priority at the moment. So far, neither company has issued an official update on the status of the acquisition talks. I love catching up to some of the news. I did not read deeply into that. I did see somebody post that in the Telegram. XRP centralized, Ripple CTO ends speculation. Interesting. Let's see what he has to say about this. Let's see what Joel Cat Schwartz has to say. A fresh round of questions about XRP's decentralization recently made the rounds on social media, with users pointing to Ripple's high-profile leadership as a potential red flag. One user openly asked why Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is seen as the face of XRP if the asset is supposed to be decentralized, drawing a contrast to Bitcoin, which has no central figure or issuing company behind it in light of Satoshi's disappearance. As he usually does, Ripple Chief Technology Officer David Schwartz stepped in, as some say, that's me on another timeline, or I walked into the wrong mirror, stepped in to respond and offer a detailed breakdown that aimed to close all speculation on this matter. And this is from David Joel Cat Schwartz, official X. Garlinghouse is the CEO of Ripple, a company XRP has no issuer. All the XRP that will ever exist was created when the ledger was created. Unlike most other blockchains, XRPL has no features, so the ledger itself can't really do the initial distribution beyond letting anyone who wants to take as much XRP as they want. As for thinking about whether XRP ledger is decentralized, I would suggest thinking for a few minutes about why you care whether a ledger is decentralized. Ask yourself what you want to be assured will happen and what you want to be assured won't happen. Then think about what it would take for the things you don't want to happen to nevertheless happen, or the things you do want to happen to nevertheless not happen. That will allow you to think usefully about how decentralized something is without getting bogged down in definitions. Sounds like a roundabout way of saying, I don't really want to answer the question. Per Schwartz, XRP does not have an issuer at all, as the full supply of cryptocurrency was created at the launch of XRP Ledger and nothing has been issued since. Unlike other networks that use mining or other systems to release new tokens, over time, XRP Ledger did not take that route. Its design simply allowed anyone to claim XRP at the beginning without competition or mining. Explained the Ripple CTO. What is decentralization for? But besides that, Schwartz also addressed the bigger picture on decentralization with the aim of encouraging people to think less about labels and more about what actually matters. Instead of debating definitions, suggests a renowned cryptographer focus on what users want a decentralized network to prevent or guarantee. From there, it becomes easier to assess how likely it is that a system could be compromised or controlled. The XRP-Ripple relationship has often been at the center of decentralization and control conversations, especially as the company and its executives remain visible in both the industry and regulatory discussion. Thus, for Schwartz, the presence of a known leadership team at Ripple does not translate to centralized control over the digital asset. Everybody's allowed to come to their own conclusions here. Long-time XRP fan John Daniel, welcome in. Awesome. That's crazy. Well, I mean, if Kathy Woods is saying it, you know, if they're buying 150 million shares, I would probably stay as far away from that as I could. Everything she touches turns to shit. Like literally. She made money on some things back a few years ago, but man, did she really lose her ass over the past, well, I don't even want to talk about it. Let's see. What else do we have? XLM. Well, first I have to get into XRP Healthcare. XRP Healthcare is up 5.2% on the day. What are we at right now, minute-wise? 45 minutes already. Wow. 162 people watching. We're very close to 100 likes. 2 likes away. It's 4 people left. XRP Healthcare, almost at 9 cents again. Very long cup and handle that it's forming. Very long. It's attempting to break out again as we speak. Is it quite far enough? I think it could be backtesting the eventual move to try to get back up to that 14 cent range and finally break out for real. But we got a dual layer here. I drew that little cup out a while ago, and now we'll see if it ends up playing through. I also threw a second hook out there just in case, saying that it could possibly do that. But it looks like it created an inverse head and shoulders here very sneakily, doesn't it? It really does. It looks like it might have very sneakily did this. Almost like you hooked here for a left shoulder, hooked here, now you're hooking back around. It's interesting what's going on here. There's a lot of people that are skeptical, but there's so many people, not as many as the skeptics, but there's a few of you that understand what I understand with XRP Healthcare, and you can understand why I love where we bought it at 1.72 cent area, and I see the sky's the limit here. I really do. Seems like the sky's the limit here, so we're just gonna have to be patient. Still working in there. There's not much more I can talk about with XRP Healthcare because it's starting to break out, and if we can hold this back test, we need to hold right around 8.4 cents. If we hold 8.4 cents or we consolidate down a little bit farther and then we break out, it's all the same. We've got a little bit of room here too. We got about a 5% cushion roughly. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see if it can continue to push out a little bit. I'm going to look at DAG for Shane. I always forget. For some reason I remember today. I'm not sure why. I don't remember which chart would be the best chart that I had either. Let's see. Oh, this is the one. I'm glad it showed that one first so I didn't have to go through a whole bunch of shit this time. So DAG is still stuck in this very tight consolidation. It's been for some time. It's been for some time. Starting to round a little bit though. Finally starting to round. Looks like it put in a little bottoming phase. I put this up here some time ago, but if it holds this area, you don't have to come back down here anymore to that 2.7. It's tough. Looks like it's setting up a cup and handle in real time. And an inverse head and shoulders and within that same cup. This is definitely trying to set up a cup. So we can already see that would bring us to like 8.6. Now, if this was a failed attempt, then maybe it could come down and do a quick dive. I don't know. Seems unlikely that it would come all the way down through. But it does seem like it's trying to round right now. If we could get a positive market move, DAG's positioned to have a nice rounding here. You seen the rounding before? This is almost like the handle of the cup right now. But it's got to get out of here. It's got to get out of here. It really does. It's got to get out of this range. Until it gets out of this range, it's kind of stuck. And we can relook at this. Let's just say it takes a little bit longer to break out. I mean, that still puts you up near 16 cents. That's a hell of a move. That's a hell of a move. But, I mean, it's much bigger. There's a much bigger cup we're working on. Much higher at 18. And then all the way up here at 36. Eventually, this is going to go to all-time highs and more. Look at that big inverse head and shoulders that is potentially playing out in front of our very eyes here. So, eventually this is going to happen, and you're not going to get these prices forever. Right now, it's incredibly cheap at 4.6 cents. I remember watching DAG when it was at 25 cents, 30 cents, not too long ago. In the distant past, going back to the last bull rally. But it ended up getting up here. I mean, it had a nice 46 cents. So, and it looks like it's creating an all-time cup here. So I would definitely pay attention. I'm not going to tell you to buy or sell or do whatever, but I would definitely pay attention with that. for sure. I'm going to keep DAG next to XRP Healthcare so that I look at it more. ACH is Alchemy Pay, another one that eventually this isn't going to stay in this rotation forever. If it breaks down, that would be hella devastating, but you know, it looks like it's building something longer. Long-standing consolidation. Hasn't had a breakout stretch here in quite some time. Literally, it's been on the downward tug since January of this year. It does look like we could have snuck in a left shoulder head, maybe forming this right shoulder back down. I don't know. But it definitely looks like there's a cup that's trying to form here as well. So, like, there's a lot of stuff to be, you know, happy about. And there's a lot of stuff to be like, well, you know, we just got to be patient. I think Quant's telling us a lot about what's coming. I do. I think ZBCN having that great rally out ahead of everything is telling us something. MXC up 11.9% right now. Holy shit. I think some of you are like, maybe I should listen to Tom a little bit more. He's crazy, but God darn it. He knows when to buy it. That son of a bitch. Some people call me crazy for ZBCN. And then it went up 250%. And then I sold it. I said, you're out of your fucking mind. You just made 250. And now it's down 22%. And they're like, I can't figure it out. You don't have to. Just watch. I just put the charts out there and I do what the charts tell me. I took my emotion out of it a long time ago. You know? So, but something's starting, hopefully, with, hopefully this isn't a fake out and this is something. This is something. Oh, the price went down hard after the Bitcoin conference last year. Indeed, it did. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get going. Julie had to walk back Scarlet. I want to go check on my son. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join the over 40,000. I see we went over 200 now. Over 40,200 subscribers. I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021. And the best part is I've never missed a day of doing this. So if you're here, I'm here, period. Bitunix is where I would go. Stop with the fees with a bunch of different places and just join it. Lowest spot and leverage trading fees, lowest maker taker, available in the USA and worldwide. No KYC or VPN. They're an exchange to exchange and or wallet. You don't send or receive from a bank account. And you get to trade in privacy. The fees, once you realize how cheap the fees are, you're going to feel like you're stealing and you're going to be so pissed off that you just figured it out. I promise you, there's hundreds of people from this community that are figuring that out now, including myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, even though we did not get a single donation tonight, and nobody donated towards the sunny days, which I didn't think anybody really would, but we got a big goose egg. I'm still going to do sunny days because it's not about the money, but maybe in the future, somebody will join Tom's army, and we'll get more donations. But tonight, it wasn't meant for donations. Tonight, we've been consolidating. And we're going to sing Sunny Day. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not forget the fun. Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we won't and we did and we may and we will and we can and we will and we won't and we can and we won't and we will and we do and we will and we up and we yes and we won't and we can and we will and we don't know anymore, but we can and we will and we won't. Or we will and we won't and we can and we will and we will. Stay true. Stay blessed. Ignore the FUD. Watch the truth. Stay true. Ignore the drop or the rise or the consolidation. It's just... this is all we need to do, right? You stomp on Bitcoin. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed day. If you're still part of this crowd, if you're still part of the crowd, not BJ, Bitcoin.